Hi there. It's the 9th of May 2024, and I'm back again with news on the May 29 elections in South Africa. With under 3 weeks remaining until polling day, the ANC has brought out its big guns to kickstart the election campaign, and there is a widespread perception that the ANC is going to lose its majority, and for the first time since the advent of multi-party democracy in 1994, it's going to poll below 50% of the vote. This has actually been heightened by the formation of a new political party, the Umkhonto Sizwe, which one of the leading figures in the ANC, Jacob Zuma, has come out and endorsed, and is actually actively campaigning for the Umkhonto Sizwe party. And the ANC is under threat, especially in KwaZulu-Natal, where Jacob Zuma comes from and draws most of his support. And the Umkhonto Sizwe party is also drawing support from places like provinces like Mpumalanga, and yes, so this is surprising, considering that the ANC has long been associated with the struggle for freedom in South Africa, and for most South Africans, black South Africans at least, they consider ANC the party that brought democracy, the party that brought freedom. And for most people, it's unthinkable that the ANC will at some point lose power, or at least will drop below 50% of the vote. It's just something most people are not prepared to contemplate. So how did we get to this point? The most South Africans, they are worried that the country is plagued by high unemployment, and some consider it the highest unemployment rate in the world. There is a rampant crime, there is corruption, bad governance, and there is an energy crisis, which for most South Africans, they have been calling it load shedding. And these are some of the issues that are going to be pivotal in this election campaign. And the opinion polls, they show that the ANC has been bleeding support. And as you can see from the graph on there, on the 27th of October, polling suggested that ANC would get 43% of the electorate, eligible voters would vote for the ANC. Then on the 6th of February, it was 40.5%. And then on the 27th of April last month, the support for the ANC stood at 40.2%. So that's just to compare with how this is comparing with other parties. The Democratic Alliance is 20%, is at 20%. It has not changed that much. And on the 27th of April, it was 21.9%. So for the DA to at least perform better in the election, it would have to do better than that, and increase its voter base from its Cape, Western Cape base. So that's the election. And then the new kid on the block, the Umkhonto Sizwe party, it had little to no support at all on the 27th of October. Of course, it had not yet been formed. It was only formed on the 16th of December. And at that point, it had little to no support. And then on the 27th of April, it had managed to score about 8.4% of the vote. So this just shows the threat from the the Umkhonto weSizwe party, at least in KwaZulu-Natal, where most of its supporters come from. And yes, and then there is, for most people, there is a widespread feeling that the ANC has lost its moral compass, the party of Nelson Mandela, the party that brought freedom. Even Mbeki himself came to question his commitment to the ANC, and at some point was quoted as asking, how am I going to ask people to vote for an ANC led by a local criminal? And this is the wide perception among South Africans, that the ANC is not deploying people on merit, but it's actually its loyal supporter base, and some of them are criminals, and that has contributed to problems like misgovernance of local authorities, at least in those local authorities where the ANC commands a majority. But that has not stopped the ANC leading lights, people like former President Kgalema Motlanthe. And Motlanthe is, as you can see from the video clip here, has been campaigning in Ekurhule in Gauteng, and yes, and most people who are committed to the cause of the ANC, they are convinced that the ANC is going to score about 50% of the vote. And yes, so if the ANC were to lose its majority, then what are the options? What happens then? The Democratic Alliance, John Steenhuisen and his Democratic Alliance, they are formed with a small group of small parties. He has formed what is called the Multi-Party Charter, and it's mostly composed of the Inkatha Freedom Party, FF plus Action South Africa, and other small parties, and together they've got about 112 seats in the 400-seat National Assembly of South Africa. So at least for the DA to for this coalition to work, my own analysis is that it has to score at least 30% of the vote, which is a big ask, considering that most support for the Democratic Alliance is confined to its Western Cape base, and it has come out with a catchy slogan, let's fix South Africa. And yeah, as you can see from the video clip there, that's DA supporters, or the coalition of its supporters from the Multi-Party Charter in campaigning in Johannesburg. And so it has it's concentrating on things like growing the economy, creating jobs, energy security, and combating crime. And whether that will work is another matter altogether. And then you have got besides the DA entering into coalition with its smaller parties, the ANC is also likely to enter into coalition, and is likely to enter into coalition with the EFF and the Umkhonto weSizwe. And then with the Umkhonto weSizwe in the mix, what it means is that Jacob Zuma ends up the Kingmaker. And although there is a falling out with the ANC, considering the extent to which it has gone to fight the emergence of the Umkhonto weSizwe party, it looks like there is bad blood between Jacob Zuma and the ANC, and whether the ANC, if it were to fall below 50%, will contemplate going into bed with the EFF or Umkhonto weSizwe. That's something that remains to be seen. Right, thank you so much for following this discussion. If you are interested in material of this kind, please subscribe, and just leave comments in the comments box below. And thank you. Bye.